What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Lincoln again, and I'm the owner and operator of Ariel Tech Services. And the message of today, the topic of today is going to be advice from successful people and eliminated haters. Um, this comes from a couple of my viewers and a couple of my followers who were asking me, what are the advice that I get from successful people, how they achieve their success, and actually how they eliminate haters as well too. So I decided to make a video on this because I feel that this is very important that people should know about um, what to how the successful people actually think, people who are wealthy and successful, and that so forth and so forth. Um, so like for people that know me, they know that I'm always around high achievers. I'm always around successful people a lot. And so I learn their habits, I learn and I study them as well too. How do they become successful? I've been doing that for a very long time. So I learn their habits and I learn what they do. So I decided to kind of make a video on that and put it all together. And so let's dive right on in. The first advice from the successful people is you have to change your mindset. What I mean by changing your mindset is, in a recent study that was done, is estimated that 60% and over of the 60% of the population are all herd followers, which means that they just go along with the herd and do what everybody else does. So you have to kind of get yourself out of the mindset. And what I mean by that is, if you are part of that herd followers, which most of the herd followers are just a one-track mind, they have that mindset of they'll never be successful. This is what they're built to do, um, so forth and so forth. Is this work the 9 to 5 job because it is a job and whatever it is, and don't do nothing with themselves after that. And if you have that kind of mindset, your body is naturally going to react to what the mind is thinking in that way. So that's what I mean by changing your mindset is you have to put positive thoughts in your mind, reinforce your mind with positive thoughts like, I am a winner, I am going to make it, I am going to achieve this, I am going to break that DNA chain, and there's nothing that's going to stop me. That's the kind of mindset that you're going to have, because when you put that in your mind, your body is naturally going to react to what your mind is thinking, and you're more than likely to follow that. People are going to see that in you, and it's just all goodness. It's gonna You're gonna be more confident with yourself. It's just a good way to go. So that's the most important one right there, because before you can begin the other ones, you must change your mindset first. It doesn't matter if it's in your career, even in the dating field too. If you are planning, because I teach that as well too, you have to have the mindset of all women want me. I am handsome as hell. All women love me. You have to have that kind of mindset. I know what I have to put on the table. I have a lot to offer. You have to, so it's the same thing like if you want to be successful in making money or being successful in your career, you have the same kind of mindset. This is what I was put on earth to do. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I love to do, and nothing's gonna stop me from doing that. Advice number two: you must change your social circle. Um, the reason why I said that you must change your social circle is because, like I was mentioning earlier, majority of the people, over 60% or 60% or over, are all herd followers, like mediocre type of people. So if you are hanging around with those kind of people and that's your social circle, and you are the only one in that social circle that wants to become a doctor, a lawyer, a veterinarian, or paramedic, police officer, firefighter, whatever the case is, is they may not, there's a good chance that most of these people, they may not support your decision inside that. So that's why it's very important. What I mean by that is, They have done studies on that. I'm going to be making a video on that later on in the future. I'm still doing research on top of that, but they have done studies where people who live in government housing and they rely off on the government and maybe work odd jobs like dead end jobs here and there just to make a little extra side money for themselves. But most of these people are not ambitious. They have nothing. And all they do is just hang around the housing all day and they don't do nothing with themselves. And it's kind of sad to say, but for these kind of people, it passes down from them from generation to generation to generation to generation. So their kids is going to inherit their techniques, which they tend to do have a lot of kids, and their kids is going to pass that trait down to their kids, and it's just going to be a mess. Now, there's only a very, very small percentage is going to get sick of living that lifestyle, and then they're going to do something about that. But sadly, that's not really the case. So most of those people like, and if you are one of those people who are living in that type of environment, just figure out what do you think is going to happen when you tell these people that, oh yeah, you want to become a doctor, you want to become a lawyer, you want to do this, you want to do that. What do you think they're going to happen? You think they're going to support you on that? No, more than likely they're not. Now, they may tell you, oh yeah, they're happy for you, they hope you achieve it, but that's kind of like the fake support pretty much. That's the easiest way to word it. It's like fake support. Externally they're smiling at you and they're like, yeah, I'm proud of you, this and that, but inside they're screaming inside and they want you to fail inside. So those are the kind of people that you got to watch for. It's like for me, I know a lot of people around, and if I see there's like, if I can just walk through my neighborhood and then I see people that, a bunch of group of people, mostly guys, that that's all they do all day, every day, is they just sit down outside their house, sit down on the side of the road and just watch traffic go past all day. And I have stopped, sometimes I'll stop, I'll say hi, I'll hang around with them for like about 5 to 10 minutes to see what they're up to, this and that. But after that it's like, you know what, I gotta go because I can't be around that type of environment. And that's all they do all day every day, and then they work odd jobs here and there, like maybe they work McDonald's, construction, one of them works in an auto parts store, and they really have nothing interesting to talk about besides, oh, auto parts, or this really, it's just nothing that interests me. They really have nothing interesting to talk about. It's but I don't judge them as being bad people. It's just not in my deck of cards. So there's this new saying that comes out. They call it the bucket of crabs analogy. The bucket of crabs. So what I mean by bucket of crabs, I'm gonna break it down where it's a little bit more understandable, is if you're going out there crabbing one day and you catch 10 crabs and you put 10 crabs into one bucket, you wouldn't even have to cover the bucket because no crabs will escape. And I'm gonna tell you why. If one crab is trying to crawl out of the bucket, the remainder of the crabs in the bucket is gonna pull that crab back down that is trying to escape that bucket. It's the same thing that applies to your social circle. Just picture your social circle, if it is bad, as the bucket of crabs. So if you are trying to climb that ladder, and just picture yourself climbing that ladder, and you have one of those guys that doesn't want you to go anywhere, pulling you back down, um, there's a good chance you're gonna fall, but then again, there's a good chance that you may be able to pull that one guy up the ladder with you, even though he's hanging on to your ankles. It's the same thing with the crabs. There's a good chance that one crab may escape just by pulling that one crab out with him. But picture this now. If you have the remainder nine of them while you're trying to climb that ladder of success that just run up to you and just start grabbing your ankles, you have five of them on one side of your ankles, holding onto your ankles, five of them on the other side. It is like literally impossible for you to pull all 10 people That's like triple, quadruple your body weight that you're pulling up. Literally impossible to pull them up with you. And eventually you're just gonna let go and you're gonna fall back down with them, just like the crabs in a bucket. So that's why you have to kind of like um detach from your social circle. I have actually done a video on that in the past where I actually have talked about that, about the energy source. So if you're around the bad social circle and you have a bunch of them who just are not supportive with you, they're always negative every time about your career and this and that. Um, the most dominant energy is gonna overpower the least dominant energy. So the person with the least dominant energy is naturally going to gravitate towards the most dominant energy. And it's the same thing with those 10 guys hanging onto your ankles. There's no way you can pull them up that ladder with you. So if you have 10 guys that has that bad energy in them, that bad energy, and then they're constantly trying to stop you from achieving your goals, um, and you have that, you're the only one that has that positive energy in you, you're naturally gonna inherit their negative energy. It's just in a situation like that, it's very, very difficult to control. It's just like that. You're gonna be, without realizing it, you're gonna be that frog in that boiling pot of water. Um, what I mean by that is you take a frog, you throw the frog in a pot of boiling water. The frog is immediately gonna jump out because he can sense that that pot is hot. He's still. But if you take a frog and you put a frog in a pot of water before you boil it and you slowly turn up the heat on that frog is naturally going to boil to death without even realizing it. Next thing you know, that frog is going to be dead in a pot because it's not going to realize it. So if you are still hanging around with these kind of toxic, negative people that are not going to support your future, you're gonna be like that frog in that pot of boiling in that pot of warm water. You won't realize it, but you're gonna be slowly killing yourself without realizing it. I mean, you're not gonna kill yourself physically, but you're gonna kill yourself economically, um, in your career, everything. You're gonna kill yourself in that kind of way, and you're not gonna realize that you're actually doing it. And by the time you may realize it later on in the future, it might actually be too late. So that's what I would recommend is if you are stuck in that type of situation, get yourself, figure it out and get yourself out of that situation. That's what successful people do. They figure shit out. Even though if you have to move out of there and rent one garage and sleep on a couch in a garage, in somebody's garage for a little while until you get on your feet, it's a lot better than being around toxic people. And eventually, if you have that strong mindset, eventually you will get out of it. You will get out of it, and then you get your car, get the nice house that you always wanted, get the career that you always wanted. Eventually, you're gonna get it, but you gotta start somewhere. Um, or you can do my personal favorite is I tell people, look, guys, this is what my future is gonna be. You got you can either support my future and be happy for me, or you're not gonna be in my future. So the reason why I say that is because if these people respected you and these people really do love you, they're gonna support your future. They're gonna be like, hey, you know what? They're gonna support your future from the bottom of their heart, not trying to tear you down from your future. So that's the second advice that I want to give you, and this is something to really, really, really think about. The third advice, advice number three, is never brag about your success or what you're planning on doing. This is the number one thing that I teach people to do is when you move in silence. I did another video on that, whether it's in your relationship field or even in the economic field or your career field. Just shut your fucking mouth. That's the number one thing I always stress to a lot of people. Just shut up. Don't brag about it because all you're gonna do is you're gonna create haters. Like what I was telling you back then, over 60% of the population are herd followers. So if you're going out there and you're bragging about your success and they're gonna think you're rubbing it in your face and you're naturally gonna mold a hater without even knowing it. And that's really not a good way to go on top of that. So however, there is some situations where you may have to disclose what your future plans are or what you have accomplished. Like for example, if I'm going for like a huge account and I want to establish this account and I see a future potential in it, yes, I will bring to them my accomplishments because it is relevant for that type of situation. I will tell them what my future plans are doing because it's relevant to build their company as well as build myself as well too. But I'll only keep it professional. Now, if I'm walking to a bus stop or if I'm standing in a line in a restaurant or something like that, and some random mediocre dude asks me, like let's just say he's a janitor or something like that, and he asks me, "Oh, what are your plans? How much money that you make? What are your future plans? What are you accomplishing now?" You think I'm gonna tell him that, "Oh, I'm making so much money every month. I'm making this much money. Business is booming. I'm having so much calls that come in, this and that." You think I'm gonna tell him that? No, because it is not relevant. If you look at this person, it is not relevant because you're already gonna mold a hater just by doing that. And it's really not a good way to go. So there's certain things where when you can actually put on a table about this success, but there's certain things that you are not gonna put on a table. And it's the same that goes into the dating field as well too, and just basically any success of your life. Um, Yeah, so that's all I have to explain on top of that for now. And I really hope that this really answers your question. And if you really like my videos, please like it. And if you want to share it with your friends, family, or whatever it is, you're more than welcome to do so. Like I said, this is put out there to help people accomplish what they want to accomplish. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all. Before I go, if you have any questions, you can feel free to answer my post any questions that you want, and when I come down to answering it, I can answer it for you. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.